What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 6, and we start today's episode off with a game against Spurs here away at White Hart Lane. And of course, we come on the back of that draw against Everton at home, and Spurs, of course, going to be very, very difficult opposition. They got a very decent side, of course, under new management in the former Southampton boss Mauricio Pochettino. Very decent side Spurs have, and they are going to be a difficult side to beat, especially away from home. But I still fancy our chances of nicking a point in this game. As you can see by a look at the league table, we are currently sitting in 8th place, they're in 11th, although we do have the same amount of points. Obviously, from the first few games, you can't really tell exactly what's going to happen in the course of the season. But we've made a decent enough start, we haven't, we've only lost once in our first few games, and that's relatively decent because we've had some difficult opposition to face. So, we haven't made a bad start at all. And as we do take on Spurs here, as you can tell by their lineup, they were missing Hugo Lloris in goal as he was currently injured, and a couple of absentees to their squad, but still a very strong one regardless. And again, I did decide to stick faith with this same first 11, which I've done through every single Premier League game so far. I've had no reason to change it because it's been working okay. I'm starting to fancy this 4-1-2-1-2 as a decent formation for us. And the first chance this game would fall in the first few minutes as Chris Brunt delivers his corner. Joleon Lescott heads the ball towards goal, and it's cleared off the line by Aaron Lennon. So for the third time in 3 games, we had the ball cleared off the line by the opposition. Very frustrating, but it looks like that's going to be a common occurrence for us. And in the 90th minute, you see Christian Eriksen put his man on the floor and find Nacer Chadli. His shot is well saved by Ben Foster though, and we managed to get the ball away. So good save by our new captain. He rolls it out wide towards Pocognoli from this goal kick. A few minutes later, he finds Chris Brunt. He backheels it towards Pocognoli, the Belgian left back, who plays the ball forward here. And as Spurs fail to get the ball away with Kyle Walker, it ends up coming straight to Saido Berahino here, our striker, who collects the ball, fake shots around his man, stops the ball, looks for a pass, finds it in Varela. The shot is saved by Michel Vorm, but he doesn't really deal with it, and Brown Day makes it Spurs 0, West Brom 1 in the 38th minute. So Day scores for us again, and I've got to be honest there, Michel Vorm, of course, getting a start ahead of Lloris, who was injured. He didn't really cover himself with much glory. Yes, the shot by Varela was quite strong, but it was straight at him, and as a goalkeeper you can't just parry the ball straight to the feet of opposition there. That's exactly what he did, and Brown Day makes it Spurs 0, West Brom 1. So a shock on the cards as things stand, but Ben Foster made a good save to keep it at still 1-0 in the 44th minute and keep us in front in this game as we were coming into the half-time mark. And as Callum Chambers wins the ball here off his man, he plays a 1-2 with Brown Day in the 45th minute on a stroke of half-time. He keeps on going down the right-hand side. Brown Day loses his marker in the centre and puts it into the open net to make it Spurs 0, West Brom 2. The second goal of the game for Brown Day. Spurs all at sea in the first half. What a lovely run by Callum Chambers, our right back on loan from Arsenal as well. Sure, that wouldn't have gone down well with the Spurs fans. And it is Spurs 0, West Brom 2. So West Brom beat Spurs in real life last weekend, and looks as though we were on course to do it again here in the game. So Spurs 0, West Brom 2, but another good save by Ben Foster there to keep it at 2-0. And in this game, despite being 2-0 up and both goals coming through Brown Day, in my opinion, man of the match would have been Ben Foster, who was making save after save in this game. But unfortunately, he couldn't save this shot from Christian Eriksen, who put Spurs back in the game in the 70th minute. Eriksen getting the goal there. It was a really nice passing move by Spurs. I found it very difficult to get the ball off them. They opened up some space in the area, and Christian Eriksen was never going to miss that one. So Spurs back in the game. It's Spurs 1, West Brom 2. But a few minutes later, Chadli plays the ball forward towards Dembele here, and he finds Eriksen. Another great chance for Spurs. Eriksen looking for his second goal of the game. But again, Ben Foster makes a good stop and keeps it at 2-1 from the cross by Lennon. He picks out Paulinho, and the header goes just over. So we were riding our luck a little bit as the game was being closed out here. But 5 minutes later, Spurs go down left-hand side of Aaron Lennon here, and as Lennon collects the ball, he needs to cross the ball in, and the cross takes a deflection. It falls straight to Sessegnon, and it's a great chance on the counter because Spurs have too many bodies up. Brown Day picks out his strike partner Berahino, who is all alone, 1-on-1 with Michel Vorm, and Berahino was never going to miss. Spurs 1, West Brom 3. A quick counter-attack as Spurs gave the ball away. They had too many bodies pushed forward, and Berahino was all alone, 1-on-1 with Michel Vorm. He was never going to miss, and he gets his first goal in the Barclays Premier League this season. So Spurs 1, West Bromwich Albion 3, and surely we are on course for a massive, massive victory away from home. And in the 90th minute, you see Eriksen, the goal scorer, play it backwards towards Dembele here. The Belgian collects it and finds Vlad Chiriches. Chiriches then finds Nacer Chadli, and Chadli plays it to his Belgian teammate Dembele, who does make it 3-2. So possibly again, Spurs could get themselves back in this game at 3-2 with just a few minutes to go in injury time, but they couldn't. They left it way too late, and because of that we claim a huge 3 points here at White Hart Lane. Before the game I thought a draw was the best we could have done. Instead we played so well and we deserved a win as well. We really did. We played good counter-attacking football in that game, and that's what was the result for the last 2 goals through Ade and Berahino, and we end up winning the game 3-2. So, you know, yes, we rode our luck at some times, and yes, we had to be bailed out by Ben Foster on a couple of occasions, but I thought we played quite well in that game and deserved a 3-2 victory. So we get ourselves a massive 3 points away at White Hart Lane, and I'm very pleased with that. And the following game was going to be against another big opposition in Manchester United, but this game was being played in midweek and it was in the Capital One Cup. So as you can see by my lineup, I did indeed rest a lot of players, and of course was it the last episode or the episode before that when we played Peterborough United, I did say in the Capital One Cup, it doesn't matter who I face, I will always play a backup side. Although I did play Ben Foster and Nastasic started as well, and I also played Malumbu. So 3 first 11 players did start at this game who played against Spurs, but the rest of the players were dropped and rested because obviously, you know, it's not really something for me which I'm worried about at the Capital One Cup. I'm really not. And despite United playing a very strong side, you know, Louis van Gaal clearly wants to take this competition a lot more seriously. He doesn't want to get embarrassed like he did in real life by playing a weak side. He did play quite a strong side. Yes, a couple of absentees, but even so, a very decent side. But for me, I'm just not fussed about it. So United could run riot tonight and win 5 or 6-0. It's not going to bother me in the slightest. But we still take on United, and the first chance would fall to the away side. And what a surprise, the first goal would also be scored as well in the 18th minute. And Herrera played a brilliant through ball towards Radamel Falcao, and the Colombian was never going to miss. He was all alone, one-on-one with Ben Foster, and you'd be a brave man to bet on Ben Foster making the save there. Even though he had a good game against Spurs, coming up against Falcao, he was always going to score, and Falcao does make it 1-0 to Manchester United. So frustrating to concede so early on in this game. You know, despite having a backup side, I was still hoping we'd have a good go in this game, but we were 1-0 down early on, and it was looking like the floodgates could open up any minute. But directly from kickoff, we tried to get ourselves back on level terms. Gamboa goes down the right hand side and takes it around Wayne Rooney, plays the ball forward towards Danny Ings. Johnny Evans doesn't get the ball away. It falls to Anachabi, and Will Hughes strikes it, but unfortunately the shot goes just over the bar by our new midfielder and out for a goal kick. So still West Brom 0, Manchester United 1. But in the 38th minute, you see us have a throw in here. I switched to a receiver and called for the pass for Victor Anachabi, and well, we scored a screamer in the game against Peterborough United in the last Capital One Cup game, and we scored another one here, and it comes through Victor Anachabi, and what an absolutely fantastic goal that is. It is an absolutely wonderful strike by our striker, who isn't going to get too many chances in this team. He's now, you know, probably 4th choice striker behind Berahino, Ade and Danny Ings now coming in, even though he's a decent striker at 73 overall. But that is one way to definitely make a claim that you should get some chances. What a goal by Anachabi, just blasts it from outside the area over the top of Lindegaard and into the top corner. So brilliant goal by Anachabi, and it is now West Brom 1, Manchester United 1. So glad to be back on level terms, and we did go into the half time on level terms here at the Hawthorns. And in the 58th minute, Daley Blind gets onto the ball for Manchester United, finds Radamel Falcao, crosses the ball into the centre. Wayne Rooney heads the ball into the back of the net to make it 2-1 to United, but thankfully for us, the flag is up for offside, and the goal gets chalked off as Falcao was offside when Blint played him the ball forward. So thankfully Falcao was just offside, as he would have got the assist for Wayne Rooney scoring there, but it was still 1-1. And in the 80th minute, how about this? Gamboa plays a great through ball to Danny Ings, who takes it around Johnny Evans, and well, I gotta be honest, is that a penalty or is it a dive from Danny Ings? With 9 minutes to go, I was sitting there screaming at my television. I was sure that was a penalty, but as you actually see it on the replay, there wasn't any contact between the two. Danny Ings decided to dive pretty theatrically, so good decision in the end by the referee. At first, I was literally ready to throw my controller at the wall. I was sure that should have been a penalty, but the referee did indeed call it right, and it was just a dive, so really Danny Ings should have been booked. But still, West Brom 1, United 1 was the final score, so we would go into extra time. So surprised to take this game to extra time, really, but I was still pleased we did. In the 97th minute, Jordan Abita was having a very good game at left back. He was tearing Antonio Valencia, the makeshift right back for United, apart in this game, and he delivered a great cross there, and Samras off the bench, his header went just wide. And in extra time, we were looking very strong, and as Luke Shaw gives the ball away here, he just pulls Georgios Samaros to the floor there. He's never going to outmuscle the Greek striker, and he pulls him to the floor. So it's still 1-1. We had a free kick in 102nd minute. I'm shocking at free kicks, but I gave it to Craig Garner, who had one in the first game against Sunderland and almost scored, not for a great save by Pantilimon. So I tried to curl it into the top corner, and well, I'll tell you what, I mean, the Anachabi goal was was good, but that is definitely a contender for goal of the season, no doubt about it. Craig Gardner with our first free kick goal of this series. No wonder all the players run to celebrate with him. What an unbelievable goal it was. And it's West Brom 2, United 1. And I'm so bad at free kicks. I am just shocking at them. And the fact I've already scored one in the 6th episode of the series is mental. But what a free kick it is by Craig Gardner. He curls it into the top corner. Lindegaard can't get there. And he makes it West Brom 2. And that's the thing, you know, a West Brom side which is largely consisting of backup players. West Brom 2, Manchester United 1. Unbelievable goal by Craig Gardner. And we look as though we could be on course for a famous night here at the Hawthorns. In the 108th minute here, you see Lindegaard make a great double save to Nyan Achabi and another player as well, and keep the score at West Brom 2, United 1. And in the 120th minute, we were so close to winning this game. We were almost there, but as Luke Shaw goes down the left-hand side, he crosses the ball in. Danny Ings pulls up for an injury. Manchester United play on here, so we're technically down to 10 men. And as Di Maria collects the ball, he finds Gundogan. I couldn't get the ball away. As you can see, I was just doing everything I could to block shots and block possible passes, but unfortunately for us, Manchester United found a gap. Who did they find? They found Radamel Falcao, and of course Radamel Falcao is going to find the back of the net. So the one player I wouldn't want the ball to fall to in this situation was Falcao after he scored the opening goal, because you knew he was going to finish, and unfortunately he did. He puts it past the former United goalkeeper Ben Foster, and it's West Brom 2, Manchester United 2, with just seconds to go in extra time. So as you can see by Ben Foster's reaction, he was gutted, as we all were really. We were just seconds away from an unbelievable result. And as you'll see, directly from kickoff, the referee blows for full time. And that means the game will go to a penalty shootout. And I was just so gutted, man, seriously, because I genuinely felt as though we played very well against this United side, considering the fact we had a squad consisting of a lot of backup players out there. We took the game into extra time. We were leading the game in the 102nd minute onwards. But Falcao scoring his second of the game meant that the game would go to a penalty shootout. So regardless of what would happen on penalties, it was still a fantastic display to take United all the way in this game with their really awesome squad, and our squad consisting of a lot of backup players was still a really good achievement. But of course it's going to mean nothing. We're going to have nothing to show for it unless we win this shootout. As you see by the stats, I was very frustrated that we didn't win. We had more shots, more on target, less possession, yes, but still a better performance overall. We could still go through if we won this penalty shootout though, so I was desperate to win it. And the first penalty would be taken by us. Craig Gardner, who scored that wonderful free kick in extra time, would stand up and take it, but unfortunately he couldn't score from 12 yards as Lindegaard makes the save. So it's the worst possible start. Falcao would then stand up for Manchester United here against Ben Foster, and unfortunately he would score. So Falcao, who's just as clinical in the game, also clinical in the shootout, makes it 1-0 to United. And unfortunately for us, I went the same way with Brown today, and unfortunately it was the same result. Lindegaard makes the save, and that means Van Persie can make it 2-0 for United from this penalty, but thankfully he doesn't, because Ben Foster denies him. So still 1-0 and only one penalty scored from 4 in the opening 4 penalties. Samras will then stand up and take one for us, and finally we got underway in this penalty shootout with a good spot kick. So one apiece here. Michael Carrick, captain of United for the night, then stands up against Ben Foster and he scores, sends the former United goalkeeper the wrong way and gives United that lead again. Claudio Jakob then stood up for us here. Could he score against Lindegaard? Yes, he could. Brilliant penalty by the Argentine, and makes it 2-2 again. Then it's another Argentine who stand up and take a penalty. Di Maria against Ben Foster. It's Di Maria who also sends Ben Foster the wrong way, and that makes it Manchester United 3, West Brom 2 on penalties. Victor Anachabi then stands up for us. Could he score for us? He scored in normal time and he scores in the shootout as well. So still a chance here. We had to save this penalty with Foster or else United would go through. It was Gundogan against Foster, and unfortunately the German puts it straight down the middle and makes it United 4, West Brom 3 on penalties. So they go through to the next round of Capital One Cup. We're out, and I'm just devastated because yes, I don't care too much about the Capital One Cup, but to take United all the way to come within seconds of going through was still a real shame. But as always guys, a big thank you for watching the video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed the episode, then please leave a like, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.